Welcome back to Twin J Racing, everyone, and today we're going to fix a problem with this truck. You've seen the short. We had the running board fail because the inner rocker is rotted out. So follow along as we fix that today. Welcome back to Twin J Racing, everyone, and we're going to fix the inner rocker panel. Well, fix is a loose term. I went to IKEA, as a friend of mine said, made me laugh, and I bought the inner rocker kit. You know, the IKEA, the Menards version. Got me some plate, some angle braces, some flat stock, everything you need to build a new inner rocker, or at least one that'll hold the running board. We gotta get this back on the truck, and it completely failed here and here. Neither one of those are still attached, but these are still attached really good, and one hole on that was still attached. So we're going to use that kind of as a mock-up and figure out how to get that back in place. So that's the plan anyways. But we gotta get the CAD going first. We gotta get under there, figure some stuff out, get the CAD going. Get the CAD going, you know, cardboard-aided design. We're going to do some work with that. We're going to cut this into a 6-inch tall strip, and then we'll trim it from there, but it's got to be 8 foot long. So we got to tape a few of these together. So we're going to get working on that and get that made up, and then make our template underneath, and then got to get underneath and clean a bunch of stuff up under there. So trying to fix some stuff on the old truck today. We're on location here under the truck, and this is what's left of the inner rocker, the outer rocker. Yeah, it should get all replacement panels, but we're not into all of that. This is obviously the two places that mounted here on this inner rocker that no longer exist. So we're going to work on getting that done. These are the places that exist that are still good. That's the one hanger that's still good. Bottom is toast, but we're going to leave it kind of there so we kind of have a place to mount it to, even though it was over here. But yeah, there's a lot of rough stuff, you know, like that needs to come off. We're going to clean this up a little bit better. I don't want to take too much of this off, and that's what that angle is for. We're going to go beside it and make a second brace, because like even this is kind of iffy at best. But the plan is to go from like right at this pinch weld down to build the new rocker mount. So that's what we're going to try to do, is kind of get an idea for shape and length here. You know, start putting this on here, kind of planning it out, And we're going to use this cardboard to cut our metal pieces. That's the eventual plan. That is what I'm planning on anyways. As I pick away at more rust. Kind of doing it on purpose. Like I said, we're going to do some angle irons from here to here to kind of give us a little more bracing. Alright, I think before we put the CAD in here, I need to get a grinder under here and go to town. Or a wire brush, one or the other. I did put these all the way in, but that's kind of roughly my plan, is to try to make this stuff yeah. Alright, let me get after this with the grinder, I think. A grinder and a wire brush. See what all falls off. I'm not sure where you guys died underneath the truck, but we finished making the template that we're going to use. Gonna do a little tweaking on it, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. And we're gonna start transferring it to metal. Hopefully I don't screw it up too bad. That's a big hopefully. So we're gonna work on laying this out a piece at a time on my metal, and then we're gonna start doing what we gotta do with it, I guess. Sounds like a plan, right? Try to get going on it. We still have to, once we get it under the truck, we'll have to figure out where that front mount's got to go. But that's minor details. So, all right, we're going to keep plugging away, and we'll be back soon. All right, guys, I don't know where this died, like I said last time, and we got our template done, or as close to done as we're going to get. So now we're going to start cutting. We got it laid out here. We got the plasma cutter out. We're working on getting everything. Where am I at? Okay, we're working on getting everything lined up to where it should cut. Like I want it to. At least I'm hoping. I haven't really cut a lot with this plasma cutter, sadly. I've had it quite a while, and I've only used it a handful of times. Mainly on that 69 Cutlass. But we marked back, top. This is the first piece, this is the second piece, and then we gotta lay out the third piece. So that's where we're at right now. Where we're at. So we're gonna cut this real quick. Safety glasses, or sunglasses anyways. We're gonna cut this oh, no air pressure. You know, we might want to hook air pressure in. That might be a good thing. It might not be either. You know how it is, we start videoing and then everybody and their cousin wants to talk to me. Ugh. Okay, we're on 20 amp, which should be more than enough to cut that. 75 psi, it'll self-regulate. All right. Yeah. I am not the greatest with a plasma cutter, I'll tell you that right now. I turned up the amperage a little bit. It's not bad. We'll clean that up a little more. But luckily enough, this is the first piece, or the back. I mean back to front, but we'll go ahead and put a 1 on it. We kind of mark where the holes need to be. And that running board is definitely bent a little bit. Found that out. So we're going to have to get all of this made and then bend it up and get it put into place. I'm not sure. I'm still processing in my mind what I want to do next. I think what I want to do is take all of them plates underneath there and see how they fit. There's ball holes in some of them. We can line up the ball holes, put it back together, kind of bolt them in place, and then the rest of them kind of float them where they need to be. And then I think I want to tack weld it all as one big plate under the truck, so that way it kind of squares up instead of trying to do something out here. We may finish, or we'll probably finish weld it out here. We may have to do it on the ground or put some wood down or something. so I can weld both sides and get an idea of where all that needs to go. And then the running board is actually bent down because it's been loose for quite a while. So I'm gonna have to, when I put it back up in place, tweak it and get it where it needs to go. We're gonna center punch all the holes, we're gonna drill all the holes, and then we're putting the plates underneath, kind of lining them up. I already have the first one under there, mainly because I forgot to turn camera back on. And we're just going to keep working towards getting all of this done. I guess I did already center punch all of these. Huh. Just keep working towards getting all of this done and get it lined up so we can tack them all together. And I haven't done it yet, but I opened the hood. We're going to disconnect the batteries before we weld anything. That is a very important thing. Disconnect batteries so we don't fry anything, especially all the electronics in this damn thing. It's a sad, sad world. Anyways, enough of me singing. It's a new day. The wife walked in, we shut cameras off. I don't know where we were at. I think we were drilling hose. I'm not sure. Anyways, we got 2 pieces in on the inner rocker. We're gonna put the other 2 pieces. We got them down here. Somewhere. Yeah, they're there. We got them right here. This is the front piece. That's the back, or this another center piece. That's actually, I think, where most of the mounting for the one that's broken is going to be. But I have other plans too. Anyways, the point to what I wanted to get to, before we start any welding on this, and I got to really clean all of this, is disconnect your batteries. There's a couple of computers in this thing, a TCM and the PCM and the BCM and the ACMS and the this and that. Some people get that joke. But there's a lot of modules in this. I really need to clean that one too. But disconnect your batteries, boys and girls. That way, hopefully the welder don't backfeed through anything. So we can get this inner rocker welded. We can get the exhaust welded. Those are the 2 things we got to weld. And I'm going to finish piecing this inner rocker together. Underneath, I want to get everything in place. I'm going to tack it all together. Take it out in one piece. Then we got to figure out where the holes need to go for the front of the rocker panel. I'm actually thinking while I'm talking. We need to figure out where the holes for the front of the running board need to go, because it's actually, I went out to where it's sitting on the trash can and it's bent down a good probably inch and a half. So we're going to kind of line everything up, figure it out underneath there, and pattern it off of that, because I know approximately where they need to be. And I mean, this isn't rocket science, boys and girls. I'm not building a spaceship. I'm just piecing stuff together and making it at least function, I guess would be the proper word here. It's going to function and hold a running board. That's what it needs to do. I'm overbuilding it because I talked to a friend of mine already this morning. I'm overbuilding it like I do everything else, but I want it to hold up. This inner rocker will probably last longer than the truck, or at least the rest of the cab, because it's starting to rust pretty good. It is what it is. We're Northwest Indiana here. Truck was in Michigan, truck was in Illinois, then it came to me. So it's been in salt its whole life. Not much we can do about it. So I'm going to work on plugging away at this. Wanted to make the PSA, make sure and take the battery loose before you do any welding. And you know, I make jokes about this being overkill, but it's actually not a bad idea to take a rag, wrap the end. That way it can't accidentally go, hey, I'm going to touch. You know, like I said, I think my original thoughts are, oh, that's overkill. And then you think about it. You're like, you know what? It may be overkill, but guess what? You ain't going to have an accident that way. You know, you can't accidentally touch, or if you're not paying attention, which we all know I pay a lot of attention to stuff, right? So we're gonna work on getting all of that done. Plugging away at that, and then we gotta pull this damn radiator out, but that's a whole nother subject. Anyways, I don't want to say ADHD, but yeah, my ADHD is kicking in and I'm bouncing all over the place on this project because we have a bunch of little things to get done. We have to fix this rocker panel. That's the biggest one, and the biggest one I've been dreading. And come on. Thank you. That's the biggest one I've been dreading, is the inner rocker panel. We got to weld the exhaust up, which I'll show you that in a little while. Remove my toolbox. I needed to take it in for a tire rotation and getting a tire repaired, but I'll do that Friday, I guess. Maybe, possibly, could. Let's see here. I gotta fix the tank vent clamp, which I kind of fixed, but I'm not happy with it, so I want to fix it again. So if I have to fix it again, did I really fix it? Sunroof drains, I need to blow them out. Exhaust I'm going to fix. Passenger side tie rod, I forgot about that one. I need to fix that too. That's about it. AC's got a leak somewhere and I can't find it, so I'm not worried about that. Trying to get everything squared away on this truck. Anyways, I'm rambled and I'm probably going to cut that. Maybe not. Maybe I will. I'm stalling at this point in time, if you can't tell. I think I'm going to drink some more coffee. But I got to get back to the project at hand, boys and girls, no matter how much I don't want to do it. So we're going to work on getting this done. So follow along. Or don't. It's America. Freedom of choice and stuff. Okay, it seems like we got this pretty well fitted. Is it 100% perfect? Absolutely not. Will it ever be? Absolutely not. But it's in here, so you can see the bolt holes that one was still there, so it's an indexing point. There was a hole in that rocker panel there, but that's not one we use this one. And I plan on gusseting that a little bit, try to give it a little bracing. And then we got these were 100% still there and solid, and these are the bolt holes that are definitely an index point. And then the rest of this made forward is just going to kind of be shot in the dark. And I mean, there's some bumps and stuff that we're just going to kind of gloss over, weld it in, and call it good. And then we're going to do some gusseting. But we're going to tack this all together underneath here. Then we're going to pull the whole thing out in one piece. I need to nip that corner up there a little bit where the bolt is. And then we got to clean this inner rocker. That's what we need to do, is clean this hole. What's left that we're going to weld to, we need to nip a little bit off of that corner. I know I'm doing all kinds of crazy camera angles, but we're going to nip a little bit off of that corner back there. Try to get this to weld in nice and straight. Probably put some gusset plates over where the seams are. I don't know if I can really gusset this one. I want to, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Due to where these are, I might be able to. We'll figure that out. Probably not. I probably won't be able to gusset that one, but it is what it is. We'll gusset from here to here. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. And then we're going to do some work up there, because I'm pretty sure that this right here is exactly where that rocker panel mounts, or the rocker panel, where the running board mounts is probably right where that brake is. I think that's right in the freaking hole. 100% in the hole right here where this rocker panel was. Well, kind of not. So I think it mounts right here, right there. So we should be able to gusset it on one side or the other. But we're going to work on getting this kind of in place and tacked together. I think that's the next step I want to tackle, is tacking all of this together and making it one plate. Then we're going to remove it and try to get everything underneath cleaned up, welded, or cleaned up and ready to weld. I think that's kind of the direction we're going to go. I'm not 100% sure, but that's my plan. You guys saw me disconnect the battery, so anytime you're going to do any welding, make sure you disconnect the battery. We got to weld that, and then we got to weld the exhaust back there. A lot of work, boys and girls, but got to get done. I needed to do this a couple of years ago, and I put it off. I was originally going to do new inner and outer rocker panels, cab corners, replace these braces. I was really going to dig into this, and then I decided not to. I'm like, that's a lot of work for a rusty truck. So, and then I thought, well, I'll find a cab, and then yeah, that idea faded too. I spend too much time working on these drivers. I understand, you know, it's the trade-off. I spend the time and now have a truck payment. But I'm at the point now where I'd almost rather make a truck payment because I'm spending too much time working on drivers, you know. I'm constantly working on drivers, which is killing my time for race car stuff. So anyways, enough of me droning on about how much, you know, the stuff I have that breaks sucks. You know, other people don't even have what I have, so I guess I should be happy, right? Anyways, we're going to get this all tacked together, and then we're going to get ready to weld it in permanently. Then we'll start gusseting it or something. But we got to figure out where that front running board's going to land, but I want to get this all welded together and kind of figure it out. All right, let me get a welder over here. Oh, crap. We're down to having it tacked together in one piece, as you saw. It is now one piece. We're going to clean it up and weld this thing completely. Probably flip it over, weld the other side first, kind of piece that together. And then, yep, gonna keep plugging away at it. And I got dying batteries. Go figure. As you've seen, we welded this whole thing into one piece now. Now we're going to attach it with some zip screws, tech screws, whatever you want to call them. We're going to put it in here, hold everything in place, pull the screws, put the running board up into here. Probably have to bend it on the front side and figure out exactly where that thing is going to land bracket wise, and then we're going to go from there. So that's the next step. We're going to put some tech screws in to kind of hold this where we want it, and it also is going to continue to help with the lineup as we put it back in here multiple times, because all the rust and stuff, this thing doesn't want to roll. I guess that'll be a rosette weld hole, I guess. I don't know. Really didn't want to. Now you can see we've got this lined up where that needs to go. I gotta figure out, I want to put a brace probably across here and then across here to help make this not so flimsy, because there's really nothing on this inner side to weld to. And then I'm probably gonna put one here across here. I got that flat stock. I want to beef this up, and then I'm gonna run 2 angle irons. Here I'm talking, you guys can't even see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna run a piece of angle iron from here to here, piece of angle iron from here to here, just to make this step have more oomph. And I might build something up here off of this, like this body mount, the back side of this body mount down, just to give it, I need it to have some girth, so you know when my fat butt steps on it at 250 pounds, it doesn't break again. I mean, it's been hanging on by a thread for a long time. And as we talked about, it finally gave up the ghost and said, no, we're not doing this anymore. But we're going to get this fixed up, and we're going to make this thing hold some weight. That's the plan anyways. It's going to be way overbuilt. I don't understand how to not overbuild anything. That is one of my problems. I mean, I could have used... Here I am, I'm talking and you guys can't see me. I could have used, I have some 1/8 inch plate, or not 1/8, I have 1/4 inch plate that I could have used for this job, but I chose not to. I think that would have been a lot more to deal with than this. This I think is like 10 gauge or 11 gauge plate, which is about the same as what this inner structure should have been. Maybe a scotch thinner, but overall, I think it was the right move. I got them flat stocks. I'll run in between here. I don't want to use angle. I don't want to give it something to catch more crap in and cause it to rust out. So I'm thinking if I run flat stock in between each piece here, tack it or weld it in, it'll give some more rigidity to this. Start up there and just work my way this way, because when I'm done, that's all going to be fully welded up there. This is all going to be fully welded, you know, as much as it can be. The bottom, there's not much I can do. There's not much to really weld it to or affix it to, because there's just not much left, unfortunately. But we're getting this kind of sorted out the way we wanted it to be. I know I'm talking and you boys and girls can't really see what I'm doing. You're just staring off in the space, but we're getting this squared away, and then that way hopefully it won't fall off again. That is the plan. I mean, best laid plans of mice and men, right? So we're going to do a little more work on this. We're going to get the running board, well, we're going to mark out the running board and then get it off, get this off. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Get this off, and then we're going to trim it some more, which sucks because that's one of my tech screws, but it is what it is. We put another one here. We now have a guiding light here and everything else drilled and not tapped. We still have to tap them and weld nuts on the back side and all that fun stuff. But we're going to work away at making this what it needs to be. So okay, we're gonna remove this once again. Well, actually I need a marker. Marker! Oh, marker! Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. We need a marker. Because what I want to do, like I said, I want to put stuff in between here. And we're just going to loosely mark everything. I'm not worried about between there. Alright. Because that one's got a rocker panel. And I can actually weld to that one. So we're getting closer. Unfortunately, this is not going to get done today. We're going to go ahead and drop the video right here. We got the inner rocker panel pretty much set up to the way it's going to fit. We got the holes drilled. We put the running board in, as you saw. Then we did the rust converter and everything, and we got some welding to do. So in the next video, we're going to weld the braces in that I want on that flat stock to brace it up in between the running boards and stuff like that. So we're gonna break this video up because if I make it one long video, it's gonna be like nobody's gonna watch it to the end. So if I do sections, I don't know if it's gonna be 2 or 3 at this point in time. So far I've only made it to the end of this one and started looking at the beginning of the next one. So we'll just keep putting it together and we'll see how it ends. So make sure like, share, subscribe, comment what you guys think about how I'm doing this or what I'm doing. Is it the right way? No. Is it a functioning way? Yes. I had looked into cutting all of that rocker out, putting all new inner rocker, outer rocker, all of that. And I mean, it's not a bad price for the metal, but that's even more work and body work and everything else. And it's just not what I wanted to get into on this truck because to me, it's just not worth the work for the reward on this truck because there's a lot of rot in other places and it would literally be, I'd be better off buying a cab for it. So I just needed the rocker panel to function to hold the running board. That's what we're doing. We're after function. We're not after looks. We're not after anything else. So, like I said, like, share, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you in the next one.